Hello, true believers, and welcome to Deck-Celsior, a podcast about the Marvel Champions living card game by Fantasy Flight Games. This is episode 2, the Hero Cards, and I'm your host, John, and I am joined as always by Sam. How's it going, Sam?
Oh, I'm doing good. Just settling into college. It's kind of hard.
Oh, college life. Good times. Has this been your first week?
Yeah, I've had 3 days of classes, and today was great because I was able to listen back to the episode because I only had 2 classes.
Well, as you are our editor-in-chief, that makes me very happy that you've listened to it.
As long as we record on Tuesdays, I can edit on Wednesdays.
And there you go. Next up, we have Ben. Hey, Ben.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm doing.
Making it?
Yeah, I'm making it. It's okay.
Ready to talk about some heroes?
Oh, yeah. Super excited.
It's going to be fun. Next up, Matt. What's up, Matt?
Hey, John. How are you doing today?
I am doing well. Getting over a bit of a cold, so sorry, listeners, if my voice is not to the best tonight, but it's on its way out, so hopefully it'll be better by the next time we record. And then we have Carlos. How's it going, Carlos?
Hello. It's going good. We managed to dodge a hurricane this weekend, so everything's going fine for the Dominican Republic right now.
Oh, man. Well, I'm glad you have not been swept away in a hurricane.
It was coming directly for us, and it just changed course today, so everything's going fine.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Listeners, Carlos and I, we played through a campaign in Lord of the Rings together, and at one of our sessions, he suddenly was like, I gotta go. And he later messaged me of like, sorry, we had an earthquake, and my wife was kind of freaking out. I was like, what? You had an earthquake? Are you alive? Are you okay?
We do get those down here, so no big deal.
Oh my god. All right. Well, listeners, it's time for our first segment. We're going to start each show with one of these. It's time for Marvel Musings with Matt, the part of the show where Matt gives us a Marvel musing. What trivia you got for us, Matt?
Okay, well, this one's going to be about Captain Marvel since we're talking hero cards today. Now, Carol Danvers is the Captain Marvel in the movie, but she's not the first Captain Marvel in the comics. Obviously, there's Marvel, who did appear in the movie, but there are, in fact, 5 others in between when Marvel and Captain Marvel becoming Captain Marvel. There have been 7 over the entire history of Marvel Comics.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
7, huh. I feel like that's pretty common, though. Like, there's usually a lot of different versions of each one. Like, different people don't
Not as many as this. The second one is Monica Rambeau. She was the little girl in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had 2 children of Marvel, a Skrull pretending to be Marvel, and a Kree from an alternate universe who was part cockroach.
Okay.
Part cockroach. Wow. Learn all kinds of things with this segment. All right, guys, I have a question for you all. Are you ready for a question?
Yeah,
Sure.
shoot.
Yeah,
All right.
come on.
We're going to go down the line. If you had to design a card, well, let's put it this way. If you had to design a hero for this game, what hero would you design? And if you have anything about it, like how would you design them? Give us what you would do for that hero. Let's start with...
I've already done this.
You've already done this? Well, let's start with you then. Carlos, who's your hero?
I'll design a hero version of Magneto with his his alter ego, Eric. He will have the ability to fetch a mutant brotherhood ally from the deck, a mutant ally from the deck. And then his hero ability will be very interesting because he will be able to get any attachment and turn it upside down, and then he can trigger and like throw attachment and deal 2 damage.
Oh, that's so cool.
So it's like a cost because you can take attachment from your allies even without asking because he's Magneto. He's not that friendly. And you're like, well, you don't need that. Give it to me. And then you start like stacking them up, and then you just hurl them at the enemies.
Love it. Matt, if you could design a hero, who would you design?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I think if I had to design a hero, I'd go with the Living Lightning.
I don't know that character.
He's an Avenger from the 90s. He showed up recently in a miniseries, but basically he can transform into lightning and these electricity powers, and he played a key role in Operation Galactic Storm and Marvel No Surrender. And I'm like, he's just my favorite personal little Avenger. And I honestly have no idea what I would design with his stats. He flies, so it'd probably do that, and definitely be another kind of energy hero, probably.
Mm-hmm. Aerial traded and all that.
I feel like I'd want to like put it into the hero card itself to use energy to make him more powerful or do stuff.
Nice. Ben, who would you design?
Oh my goodness. I would. Jeez. My favorite hero most want to see is like Nightcrawler. But I'm trying to think about his like teleportation abilities, and the only thing I can think of right now is like Spider-Man's backflip.
Yeah, just dodge the damage.
But yeah, you just have to be like very dodgy, and I don't know. But lots of tricks. Very tricksy.
I think it could move enemies where enemies were engaged with.
Ooh, that'd be cool. There you go. Done. Caleb, you can use that one on us.
Yeah, I'm in for that.
Sam, who would you design?
I think I'd have to go with Ghost Rider.
Ooh.
And I think it would have attachments like maybe his chopper or Hellfire or something like that. Some ability that just does a massive ton of damage to an enemy or a minion. I feel like he'd be great with a ground.
I like it. If I had to pick somebody, I would design the Hulk. And I haven't thought a whole lot about what Bruce Banner would do, but I have thought what I want the Hulk to be is, Carlos, I think you had given me this idea about, like, you can't really control when you turn into Hulk. So I would love for, like, I don't know, something like a lot of his hero cards that you put in your deck. Like, there's ones that you draw that are Rage, and you, like, can't discard them. And when you've drawn so many Rage cards, you just flip into the Hulk. Or, like, and then you're, like, I don't know, put some timers on the Hulk, and you can stay in Hulk form, like, each round you take off a timer, and eventually you calm down, turn back into Bruce Banner or something like that. And I don't know, I want him to have zero. I love the idea of Zero Thwart from the ally card. So I think that's a good idea. Zero Thwart, he doesn't thwart, he just smashes things. Maybe like 3 or even 4 attack, because I mean it's the Hulk. Come on, yeah, he's gonna smash something.
You give him 4 attack.
4 attack, like maybe 1 defense. I don't know. He's not really gonna defend.
He could have force. He could have force. When Hulk defends an attack that was first directed to another player, he deals that much damage to the attacking enemy and to that player.
I love it. I just want like an uncontrollable beast. Yeah, I love what they did with the ally. Yeah.
I'd be interested if they, like, at the start of your turn, you discard the top card of your deck and it does stuff like that. Like,
that's a good idea too.
Oh yeah,
like it flips if you get the fight or whatever.
Yeah, if you discard Rage or something like that.
Maybe like. You could have it where it's like the longer you stay in Hulk form, it could add extra threat, or maybe while you're at Hulk, it could add an acceleration token or something.
Makes you out of control.
Yeah.
Just so you don't stay in Hulk form forever.
Yeah, the longer you're a Hulk, the more like danger you are to everyone else, including the villain. I love that. I want that in the Hulk. I will play that hero like exclusively.
Like whenever he attacks, discard the top card of your deck, and if it's anything but a wild resource, deal that damage to everybody instead.
Like if any listeners are LTR player, the Hulk is gonna be like the Grima in multiplayer, which is like, this is great, but I'm gonna screw everybody up.
Oh, this guy! Oh, there's the Hulk guy. Oh my gosh,
that'd be fantastic.
All right. Well, with that, let's get to some news. Sam, what has happened in news since our last recording?
Okay, Team Covenant has posted 2 new videos, both for expert mode against Ultron. One of them was playing Protection Spider-Man, and the other one was playing Leadership Black Panther, which hasn't been a deck I've seen yet. And I watched through them both, and they're very interesting. It brings up a good rules question about Spider-Man that we will get to once we have the rules reference, and we'll get to later when we read Spider-Man himself. But It was very informative, and they also used some prototype tokens. So expect to see some tokens from them.
Yeah, those new, they looked really good. The deck trays, or not the deck, but the card tray and the little acrylic tokens they used. They were really nice. I liked them. And yeah, I have watched the second one, which was from what I hear is the better playthrough. Like they got close. They got so close. Well, spoilers. They got so close.
The first one they were done by like turn 3. They were like, oh yeah, this isn't gonna go well.
Yeah.
The first one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It
the
did not
first
go
one was
well.
really rough. I don't think he drew any of his Black Panther upgrades until like the end of the game.
Yeah, they were all the bottom 6 cards of his deck.
I mean, it was like a launch for them all or something. It was ridiculous.
Well, when you play a card game, sometimes the card you need is just on the bottom of your deck.
Yeah.
I think like it's interesting to see these videos because you see how good this game is. Because
Oh yeah.
a lot of people are worried that this is like a dumbed down version of low TR/Arkham, and it's gonna be simpler to play, which is true in terms of mechanics. But in terms of actual decision making, I think this game is at the level of those 2 other games, and that shows they made so many good moves and they made so many strategical mistakes, and you can see that, and that's like a good thing. You know, when you see a new player making a strategical mistake, that's like telling you this is going to be an interesting game where the way that you play is going to decide if you win or not.
I think it's really good. It has a whole nother layer of strategy from like Lord of the Rings. I've never played Arkham, so I can't speak to that. But from Lord of the Rings, where your cards are your resources, it really reminds me a lot of like the Noldor archetype in that way. And that's what I loved about Noldor, is because you've got so many decisions to make because your cards are basically another resource. And every turn you're having to make decisions and important decisions. Because with some decks in Lord of the Rings, it's just like, okay, this is obviously the best play, so I'm playing this. Or some days it's like, well, I don't have enough resources, so pass. You know.
Well, the best way to describe this game to a Lord of the Rings LCG player is every deck is Aristor.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so Aristor is this character in Lord of the Rings where he draws a bunch of cards every turn, but also makes you discard your hand at the end of the turn. And what people don't kind of like, and this is good to have in mind when we are analyzing the cards. You think that you're always going to be able to pay for cards. So that makes things in Marvel like these cards are like easier to play. So this is better than a similar card like this in Lord of the Rings, like Nuke Fury. It's better than Gandalf because you're always going to have the resources to pay for it. But the important thing is the decision about which cards are playing is so hard to make. And the other thing, keeping cards in hand, it's a handicap. Because you think like, this is a good card, I should keep it for later. But that means that you're not drawing a card because you're keeping that card in your hand. Yep. So that makes the cost of deciding to get rid of that card or not much higher than people think. And a decision if just, chuck that card in and try to get what you need now, it's something that Keyforge players, if any listeners Keyforge players, they will know that mindset, that problem that you get rid of the cards or not, and it makes for very good decisions.
Same thing with Destiny players. If you want to go for a reroll or something, and you have a card in your hand, you're like, oh, I can play this, but like that reroll can sometimes change the entire game. I used to play Destiny, not anymore, but like I think one of the hardest decisions in this game, especially in a larger group, and it was very evident in their first game versus the second game, was organizing how you end your turn in what form. Because if you're not careful, you'll both be at hero form at the end of the turn, and then you'll both get attacked, or you'll both be in alter ego form at the end of the turn, and then he'll go through the scheme. So it's like really one of those things that you really got to be paying attention to, and like in a bigger group it's gonna get harder because not everyone's gonna be like, if you don't focus, you're gonna get run out of the game really quickly.
Yeah, with the boosts, getting a bunch of boosts on everyone's scheming will quickly end that agenda. Like
oh yeah,
if it's on like 3 and you're on like a 7 scheme agenda, you could accidentally just suddenly lose right there.
Yep. And that's what really happened to the Ultron video, I think. In the first one I was watching, is like they both stayed in alter ego mode in like a couple of turns, and there was so much that so much scheme was put on that main scheme that it was just crazy. I was like, oh, that's bad. It's bad to both be an alter ego, for everyone to be an alter ego at the same time.
Yep.
Any other final thoughts or any other news, Sam? If not, let's move.
Oh, sorry. Some really technical difficulties, but like just to explain how rough this day is going. First of all, I'm a little mad at Lord of the Rings right now because I've been playing the last quest in the new box. I played like 4 or 5 times today. Lost every single time. And then so I built a new deck to play it, and I just dropped I was doing it on my bed because it didn't really have much space, and like the cards just fell off the bed and they're all over the floor.
Oh no!
So yeah, I just got them up. I'm just it's one of those days.
It's one of those days where you just can't even play a card game.
I'm about to just be like, I'm just gonna play Arkham for the rest of the night. But this is why I'm excited for this game. Already.
Oh man. Well, let's move on to our main topic for the night. It's hero time. So, listeners, what we've done, there are 5 heroes in the core box, and there are 5 of us on this podcast. So what we're gonna do? I know, it's almost like it was meant to be. So what we're going to do is each of us has been assigned a hero, and we're going to go through and we're going to talk about that hero, their alter ego form, and each of the cards that come with them, and do like our impressions of that card. And then after they've gone through, each person's gone through and given their impressions of the cards, noted any synergies they like, we'll give a quick kind of round table. Okay, everybody else give me a quick impression of this hero and their cards. So let's just do this. Let's jump right in. We are starting off with Spider-Man. Sam, why don't you tell us about Spider-Man?
Okay, so Spider-Man is a hero with the Avenger trait. Has 1 fort, 2 attack, and 3 defense, with a spider sense ability. Interrupt. When the villain initiates an attack against you, draw 1 card with a hand size of 5 and hit points of 10. So this is one of the rule questions you were talking about earlier, is if you defend for someone else's Spider-Man, do you draw the card? And until we get the rules reference, we really can't.
That's a really gray area.
We're really trying to find an answer for that.
They played it like that when they did their own game.
That's what I think you can. I'm pretty sure you can draw the card, but we'll get a definitive answer eventually. I can always just email Caleb, but he probably won't answer me until the game's out anyway.
Right.
But on the flip side, we have Peter Parker, an alter ego with Genius traded. He has 3 recover, and he has the Scientist ability. Resource, generate a mental resource limit once per round, hand size of 6, and hit points stay at 10.
Nice. Oh, what is Spider-Man's hand size, by the way?
It is 5.
It is 5. Okay, so you go down 1 when you're in Spider-Man.
But if you go into Spider-Man, the villain's going to attack you unless he's stunned. I actually also want to see how if he really ever actually initiates attack if he's stunned. I'll look at that later too. But you really have a hand size of 6 with Spider-Man because the villain's going to attack you.
Yep.
For the most part.
Good point.
And if you defend across the table and draw more cards, you can have up to like 7. Or if you have an Indomitable, maybe even like 8 in a 3-player game. Potentially.
Yeah.
And now we're going on to the...
Yeah, go on and cover the cards, all 15.
So, Black Cat, or Felicia Hardy, is an ally, a hero for hire. It's cost 2, health of 2, 1 attack, and 1 thwart. Notice that the attack does not have the damage icon underneath it, so you can attack with her as many times as you want without her taking damage.
It's
she
incredible.
has the energy resource and a force response. After you play Black Cat, discard the top 2 cards of your deck. Add each card with a printed mental resource discarded this way to your hand. There's 1 of her in the Spider-Man list because she's unique.
What do you think about that force response?
I think it's whatever. I'm really playing her for the attack.
Yeah.
Damage. I mean, if I get a card, I got a card. If I don't get a card, I'm not worried about it.
If you build around it, maybe you can trigger it more often, but I mean, Yeah, it's good. It's good if you have any mental resources in your deck. Like, you're gonna draw a card sometimes, and that's gonna be great.
Yeah, so she sometimes replaces herself. Now, obviously, if like she discards the top 2 cards and it's like a backflip and it's like a spider chaser or something,
You feel
that would
sad.
feel bad. But if it's a swinging web kick, we get to draw that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
The next card is a backflip. It's an event with defense skill traded. It's cost 0 with a might.
Might.
resource.
I believe it's might.
I believe it's might. It's interrupt parentheses defense. When you would take any amount of damage from an attack, prevent all of that damage. This card's awesome.
God, this is so good.
Oh yeah.
A ridiculous card.
Wow.
And it's Spider-Man number 2 and 3, so there's 2 of them. There's not much to say. This card's just good.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like it makes his health be 15, basically, or more even.
Yeah. The best part about it is you can wait till after you see the boost card and then decide to use it. So if they don't boost, you're like, okay, I'll just take damage. If they have a boost 3, you're like, okay, gotta block this.
Like with that Goblin Glider.
Oh yeah, that too.
Like 3 boost. Backflip's gonna be good from now until the end of time. It's just a
Yep.
good card. Okay, moving on to Enhanced Spider Sense. It's an event with a superpower traded. It's cost 1 with a mental resource. Hero interrupt, so you can only do this when you're in hero mode. When a treachery card is revealed from the encounter deck, cancel its when revealed effects. Spider-Man 4 through 5.
Ooh.
I think the hero interrupt is the thing that balances this card.
Yeah.
Yep.
But just another great card from now until the end of time.
Yep. It's the Lord. It's if for any Lord of the Rings players, it's the test of will ish kind of thing.
Yeah, for any Arkham players, it's a test of will.
Oh, is it really? Is it the same
It's
thing?
water protection.
But
No,
this is
test of will.
if I can interrupt for a little, this is what's interesting about this game. So, if you're playing Lord of the Rings or Arkham, you get a test of will, which it's basically the same text of this card if you don't play any of those games. But if you get a test of will turn 1 in your mulligan opening hand, in your opening hand, you're like, I'm just gonna keep this card until I use it. If you're playing with Spider-Man and you get this card turn 1 and you know you're not gonna flip, and then that is a card that is not allowing you to draw another card.
Yeah.
So it's a very powerful card. It's a very necessary card, but the decision to keep it in your hand, it's a lot harder than in any of the other co-op LCGs or in most card games that I play. And that's when you see how this game, the design and the resource mechanics of this game make for added tactical decisions.
I don't see it as for me, I don't think it's that hard of a decision. I think if you built your deck well enough, I think you can stomach most treacheries. So I don't like it's the first turn of the game and I have my Avengers Mansion in hand, and let's say my other cards are like 2 backflips, 2 swinging web kicks, and this. I will happily ditch this to pay for that Avengers Mansion and keep one of the other 2 cards because I just think they're better.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's one of those things that's like, if you trust that your deck can handle it, I have no problem ditching this.
Yeah, but it's still a decision that you're making. It's not like in Lord of the Rings where you're just like keep that test of will in hand. Just don't think about it.
You were me earlier.
You're like, I'm gonna cancel this one card. And I'm gonna play my entire game around canceling this one card. You can't do that in this game, I don't think.
No. You're handicapping yourself too much.
Shadows of the past.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's the dream. That's the dream,
Whoa.
I think.
This and get behind me. I'm never seeing that Shadow of the Past.
All right, what's next?
Next card is Swinging Web Kick. This was the first Spider-Man card that comes with 3 copies.
Ooh.
It is a hero event. It's an aerial attack superpower. Costs 3. Resource is mental. The hero attack parentheses. deal 8 damage to an enemy. Can I just roll text on this? It literally just says tally ho.
That is great.
You're taking someone for 8 damage and you're gonna say tally ho.
I didn't realize there were 3 of this in the deck. That's amazing.
Yeah.
24
It's
damage.
I think this is the most efficient damage card in the game, at least
2 damage for 1.
wise.
It's the most stable, highest damage. Anything else will be a bit more variable, like
Right.
Iron Man Repulsor Blast.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, this is 2 damage per card spent. Less if you use like boosts, like
It's a
Spider-Man.
great card, but it's still expensive.
Yeah.
It's moderately expensive. It's a great late game card and just an okay early game card, I think.
And if you're playing with She-Hulk, it's a great way to kill Titania.
Yes. Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, this will one-shot pretty much any minion and probably take out a hero form in solo. A villain form in solo.
Also,
I'll be halfway there at least.
It's good to note that, like, if you use this, with especially in something like Rhino 1 or 2, this isn't as great on Rhino 3 because Rhino 3 gets the tough at first, so you have to deal with that before you want to play this because you don't want to waste spinning web kick just to get rid of tough.
Yeah.
But it's like one of those things. I mean, he starts with 14 health and you just did 8. Now he's at 6 on the first turn.
Yeah.
Boom.
That's just such a big wing. I mean, pun intended.
But you start with 6 cards. You still got 2 left, plus Peter Parker's resource. So that it's not that bad. You still can play another card.
I mean, you can't use Peter Parker's resource for this card, but
Not for this card, but for a different card.
But if you have web shooters or something, you can play that down, and then use that to help pay for this card too.
Yeah.
Peterson
Or you
has
just
a
play
lot of
something
good cards.
else. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's one of those cards that I'm like, it's gonna be good all game.
Yep.
Like, there's never a time where it's really not great.
And this is where I'm really glad about having hero-specific cards, because if they printed this card as like an aggression, there's no way they can top that. Like, either be broke, they'd have to make something even more broken, where it has a condition that anyone can easily fill, or just be bad.
Mm-hmm.
But this, it lets it have, okay, Spider-Man has this web kick, it gives him, it's pretty much his main source of damage,
Yeah.
and it won't break it for anyone else.
Right. I love that design of they just having hero-specific cards because it's not. You can make these cards super powerful and not worry about it breaking the game.
It gives them a lot of design space. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think Caleb was telling us a story at Gen Con about how they said if everything everything's overpowered, how much is it actually overpowered? And then he said that they gave other designers at FFG asked if they could try and design a hero, and he said that all of them were severely underpowered compared to the heroes they had because they don't know how to think in that mindset. They completely redesigned how to create a card. Like, you would never see a card that was like that. I feel like you would never see a card like this in their other games.
Mm-hmm.
I love this game. I love this game. I don't even have it on.
What we got next?
All right, Aunt May, support persona, cost 1, mental resource. It's good to note you can pay for this with Peter's ability.
Mm-hmm.
I do love that. Alter ego action, exhaust Aunt May, heal 4 damage from Peter Parker. This is great because it if you use this and as recovery, you're healing 7 damage. If you just use this, you're healing 4, and you can use Spider-Man to do something, and then flip.
Oh yeah.
And then next turn you can use it, flip back to Spider-Man, and use Spider-Man.
Yep.
And you
That's
healed
8 damage for 1. Over 2 turns, that's 8 damage. Healed damage for 1 cost, which could be free with Peter's ability.
Yep.
I don't know.
Even
It's
if this was an event, it'd still be really good.
Oh yeah.
I don't know that there's
Also,
any more
the flavor
efficient
text
healing
is
than this.
Nowhere
Nope.
near.
No.
not
no,
even
no, no.
close.
The flavor text on these cards are literally just hilarious.
That's great.
Goodness, Peter's been so clumsy lately. Like, that's just so
No,
funny.
no. That's not how she says it. That's not how she. Goodness,
I know.
Peter, you've been so clumsy lately.
Have you done the Tobey Maguire Aunt May?
Clipped by a biker. I got clipped by a biker.
Yeah. What's next, Sam?
Spider Tracer. Upgrade item tech cost 1 with an energy resource attached to a minion. This is great with Ultron. Force interrupt. When attached minion is defeated, remove 3 threat from a scheme. From a scheme.
Ooh.
That's so good. Especially if you like draw side scheme that turn and you have like a minion engage with you. Most of them in like solo are around like 3, and you can just play that down, kill it, and then now that side scheme is like gone. And I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
Except for his 1 thwart.
Yeah, it does make up for his 1 thwart. The only drawback is you need a minion in play, and I don't think they're that common in this game from what I've seen so far.
It's gonna be a little harder to use this in solo unless you're playing like Ultron.
Or in multiplayer, like 4 players, you're more likely to draw out minions, and you can play it on anyone.
Right. I think in 4-player, you're almost always going to have a target if you plan for it. Like if you say, don't kill a minion, wait for my turn, I'm going to throw this on it, and then we're going to remove 3 threat.
Also, if you use one of the modular encounter sets, if you know it's enemy heavy, like let's say you have the Masters of Evil one in there, this just gets a little bit better because you know there's going to be more minions in the deck.
Yep.
I mean, I feel like that's teching, but like also not really.
I mean, is it teching if you have to put it in your deck?
Yeah, right. My tech is I'm playing Spider-Man.
It's like the same way I'm teching against Ultron by playing Black Panther. But like, it just makes it slightly better just to know that. Even though you can't change it if you're just gonna play Spider-Man anyway, it just feels better.
Yep.
His next card is a web shooter with the upgrade. It's an item attack, cost 1 with a physical resource. Uses 3 web counters, and so it enters plays with 3 web counters. When those are gone, discard the card. So unlike Arkham, this says discard this card, which I'm assuming that's gonna be with.
Some Arkham cards have that.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be all uses cards.
Except I know Hawkeye doesn't.
Yep.
Because he's an ally, but I
He
think
doesn't have uses though.
Ally, I think it's going to like all the upgrades. I'm pretty sure it's gonna have discard that. I'm not sure yet. So this one it forces you to discard the card, and it's a hero resource. So notable, you only use it when you're a hero. It's exhaust web shooter. Remove 1 web counter from it to generate a wild resource.
Yep.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's great.
That's amazing. Wild.
Do you guys have any idea how the timing on resource generation works?
Not specifically, but I believe you do it when you're playing the card.
Right.
Yeah, you can't. If you can exhaust
stop
this and move the counter to generate the resource, but you have to use that resource for that to pay for a card.
You can't flip back
You
into
can't
your
just
park or
move
use
it.
his resource too, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think the next thing you have to do is like play a card or use like something that would reduce the cost of the card or something. But like you have to use these resources when you generate them.
I think the timing is going to be you play a card, then you generate the resources by discarding cards or using abilities, and then you pay it using those resources.
Yeah, that's
my
got.
assumption. Yeah.
I found with something like web shooter that I was a little easier to cut something like a helicarrier, and not that I use the mansions more than the helicarriers anyway, but because Spider-Man just has built-in ramp.
Yep.
So I found it just with him. I found it a little easier to cut some of those like acceleration or ramp cards.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Like, yeah.
All right. Last card is webbed up. It's an upgrade. It's a condition with cost 4 with a physical resource. Hero form only. Attached to an enemy, max 1 per enemy. So you can only play this when you're a hero. Just interrupt. You would attack, discard webbed up instead, then stun that enemy.
Oh,
this
gosh.
stops their attack twice. It stops 2
so
attack, and if
good.
solo, they just didn't attack you for 2 turns.
It can stop, 2 attacks.
Yep.
And not just you, like it attacks you and then attacks the next guy.
Oh my
So
gosh.
good.
This card is always good, but in 1 or 2 players, it's just ridiculous.
Now it is expensive. It's 4 cost. I think that might be his most expensive card.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah, but think about it. Like, if you're playing solo and you're in hero mode, that's 2 turns when the enemy's not doing anything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
And meanwhile, you
also,
still have activation.
it feels like a good late game card when you're like, well, I built up as much as I'm gonna build up. I'm gonna play this my swinging web kick to finish off the enemy. Basically,
Yep.
those are the two
Or
cards you
if you
want at that, like on turn 5 or 6 or whatever a late game is.
Or if you need like breathing room or something, like if your health is getting low, and like you're not ready to flip back yet, because you just need to do a little more stuff in hero mode. You can just play this.
Yep.
Gives you breathing room for 2 turns. 1 turn if you're unlucky and like the encounter deck makes the villain attack or something. But at least you still dodge to attack. It's just less round of attacks.
Yep.
But it's just this card's so good. Spider-Man's cards are all just really, really.
On that note, let's do a quick last thoughts. Carlos, give us your last impressions on the Spider-Man.
I think he's great. I just think that he has probably card by card the most impressive tool set.
I agree. Matt, what are your last impressions?
Yeah, he's got a pretty solid card set. I noticed like the resource spread, he's got only 3 energy, but 6 each of fight and mind. And I'm particularly interested if we get a good mind build with him with that resource generation, with Black Cat, and with the web shooters generating wilds for it, to have like some kind of science deck. He does have like his activated abilities are pretty, I want to say humble, I guess, like just low key. Like his in hero mode, he's got no ability until the enemy attack. It's not proactive.
Yeah,
it's a great ability though.
Oh yeah, it's a great ability, but it's like it's not proactive. Is what I'm.
Yeah.
Ben, what are your final thoughts?
I feel like Spider-Man is good, really, really good at hitting the ground running. He's got a lot of good, like just one-shot effects and stuff like that. He's not like Black Panther or Iron Man that needs a build-up. I think he's gonna be the best like turn 1 hero in the game, at least for the core set.
Yep.
Maybe She-Hulk.
She-Hulk could be good too.
Yeah.
My final, I don't think there's a dud in the bunch. I think all of his cards are amazing. Like, and there are some. We'll get to them. There are some cards that I think are duds in these hero cards, but I don't think any of them are in Spider-Man. Like, all of these have their uses, and they're all amazing. Yeah. So, go ahead, Sam.
So, I think, like you said, there's no bad cards with Spider-Man. There's a lot, but like Carlos said earlier, there's a lot of holding back cards because all his cards are so good. It's like a really hard decision of do I toss it, do I play it? But I think the biggest thing to note is that he is great with Justice because of the card for Justice, and that a lot of his cards generate mental or the wild resource, which is really good for that card. Honestly, I think I don't see any trait or any aspect that's not great with Spider-Man. I just think protection is great in multiplayer, and I would build a really good solo Justice deck with Spider-Man. But the only deck I haven't built with Spider-Man is aggression.
All right, well, moving on, our next hero is Captain Marvel, and that is going to be covered by Ben. Ben, give us a lowdown on Captain Marvel.
All right, Captain Marvel is hero, Avenger Soldier. She has Thwart 2, Attack 2, Defense 1. She has 12 health and 5 hand size. Her ability is Rechannel. For an action, spend 1 energy resource and heal 1 damage from Captain Marvel, and then draw a card. Limit once per round. So, essentially, she can just, discard an energy card, heal, draw another card. So it's basically free healing, kind of.
And card
Assuming
draw.
you have an energy resource that you want to do, yeah.
Well, I guess it's not really card draw.
It's a cycling.
Yeah.
It can be deck filtering. Like if there's a energy card that's not useful right now, you can discard it and hopefully draw something better. Or
it's also one of the few moments that you can heal while in hero mode, which can be really efficient.
Yeah. So it's a small healing, but it's nice. It's nice to have. So her alter ego is Carol Danvers. She is shield and soldier traits. She has recover 4, health 12 still, hand size 6, so 1 more than her hero mode. Her ability is commander action. Choose a player to draw 1 card. Limit once per round. So it's basically like she has a free Avengers Mansion in play at the start of the game.
Yes, please.
That is an amazing ability.
She's Iron Man's best friend.
Oh yeah,
Solid recovery ability too.
Mm-hmm.
And Black Panther too.
It's great in solo and even better in multiplayer, I would say. So
for any of the Lord of the Rings players out there, this feels like the problem that we have with Galadriel. It's like you're gonna have that one person who's looking at your opponent's table like, hey, can you please give me that?
hey.
Yeah.
Well,
give me that.
When I did my demo at Gen Con, the Captain Marvel player, which was the only person that was not part of our group that was playing, he was just like, I heard Iron Man needs cards, and he just kept giving me cards. And
nice.
by turn 3, I was just completely set up. And it was just thanks to him. And set up Iron Man, as we will see later, is a thing to deal with.
Good guy, Marvel player. Plays Carol Danvers. Never uses her ability for himself.
I think he flipped right at the end just to see what it was, but he was just like he was just like draw a card. I'm just also gonna play Maria Hill, so you can draw a card. It's just like,
oh my gosh, that's amazing.
One thing I'm liking is the difference in hand size, where the heroes generally have more cards in hand, and it just another way to. So you want to go back into alter ego mode, and you're not just in hero and punching them down.
Yeah,
it gives you more options for card draw.
Yeah, it's pretty standard to have hand size 6 as alter ego and hand size 5 as hero.
Yeah,
there are a couple exceptions in the core set, but that seems to be the standard. Anyway, I think both her abilities are pretty good, and they both involve drawing cards, which is pretty good.
I like her hero ability. I think it's nice to note, like, I mean, it's kind of sucks that it has to be an energy resource, but it helps you get to the point where you're healing, where you don't have to feel like you have to flip back over,
right,
just to recover.
Right.
Even though it's only 1 damage, it helps. Every point of damage helps.
Yeah, it makes her effective hit points like higher than 12, basically. It's almost like she has 12 or 15 effective hit points. Anyway. So her next card, her first card, whatever, is Spider-Woman, Jessica Drew. It's an ally. It's got the Avenger and Spy traits. It's cost 3, health 2, attack 2 with 1 consequential damage, thwart 2 with 1 consequential damage. It has a wild resource, and after Spider-Woman enters play, confuse the villain.
Ooh.
So
tell us what confuse does.
Confuse, the next time the villain would scheme, you just discard the confuse status effect. So it's
like stunning for scheming.
But for scheming.
Yep.
Yeah. And for heroes, it prevents your fort.
Right.
Yeah.
Is this the only confuse the villain card in the core set?
Yes.
I think so.
I think it is.
So that's nice.
Interesting.
It's really good against
counter cards that confuse the heroes.
Say that again. Hold on. Sam, say that again. Your mic was a little soft. Say that again.
I believe there's encounter cards that confuse the heroes, but this is the only one that actually confuses the villain.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be one of the I think confusion is a little more powerful than stunning, just because of, like, if you try to play against like Reiner or something, and he only has the 1 scheme that can just end the game if he gets 1 bad boost card. Considering this can prevent that bad boost card, I feel like it's just more powerful, because you lose the game quicker by scheming out than you do by taking damage.
Yep. And 2 attack and 2 thwart is pretty great stats.
Yeah. Only 2 health, though, which is kind of the drawback of this card, but it's kind of like, was it Mockingbird?
You gotta think how much thwart she's giving you. The confuse is a thwart, which is at least one, but it would be more than one when you consider the boost card that the villain is getting.
Right.
And then 2 thwart each, so you can get like 6, 7, even 9 thwart threat avoided thanks to her. So I think she's great in that regard.
Yep.
2 health is fine.
I just like how flavorful she is with her confuse ability, because like in the comics she produces pheromones that make people attracted to her, so that kind of
Huh.
I forgot about that actually.
And side note, she's completely unrelated to Spider-Man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like she was a spy. I think she had a special chamber that gave her powers from Hydra. Nothing at all relating her to Peter Parker.
Huh. Interesting.
Also,
Didn't know that.
But there was an argument before in one of the discords about if Spider-Man should have a hyphen between Spider and Man, because he didn't have a. And there was a big argument, and someone was like, "Well, look at the card; it has a hyphen in it," and they changed the entire like chat name and just to have a hyphen, but she has it too, and it's great. Because you don't see Spider-Man Far From Home, you see Spider-Man Far From Home.
Get your act together, Disney. Come on. Hire some grammar
See,
Nazis.
now, all they have to do is put the hyphen in the name, and now they have the rights to say the hyphen.
That's fantastic.
Well, let's move on. What's our next card?
Yeah. Okay. So our next card is Crisis Interdiction. It's an event. It's thwart trait. Cost 2 resource, energy resource, which is nice. Hero action thwart. Remove 2 threat from a scheme. Then, if you have the aerial trait, remove 2 threat from a different scheme. So there's another card that gives her the aerial trait. Without it, this is like kind of bad, but with the aerial trait, this is a very good card because it's removing 4 threat for 2 resources.
3 cards total.
And from different schemes, which can be great.
Right. Again, you need multiple schemes in play, and they don't seem super common. But when you have multiple schemes, you really want to get rid of them. So this is really a clutch card.
It'll be good for Claw.
So can I ask a question? There are schemes side schemes that stop you from removing threat from the main scheme, right?
Right.
Yeah, Crises.
So you couldn't be able to use Crisis Introduction for the main scheme if you have the other one in play, because this is still 4.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, that's correct.
I think maybe if you could remove the last 2 threat from that side scheme, you could then remove it from the main scheme, but I'm not sure about that.
If there's multiple side schemes in play, I mean, like if you get hit by a side scheme and then a Shadows of the Past, now there's 2 in play. I mean, that's not probably gonna happen.
Yep.
But like, at least now there's 2 in play that you could use if one of them has the crisis thing.
Yep.
At least
this
it's
is
an energy resource.
This is a card that I think it's much better in single player than in.
I disagree. I think it's much better in multiplayer because you're more likely to have 2 schemes in play.
But they are more likely to have more threat on them, which makes it less useful.
Yeah, but at least they'll be out in play.
Right. The other nice thing about this is an energy resource. You can always pitch it to her her ability to heal and draw another card if it's not useful.
Yep.
Yeah. And
There's not there are 3 of them in the deck. Oh, I didn't notice that. Yeah, you're right.
It's a little disappointing that there are 3 in here. I don't know if there's 3 of any other card, but if this is her 3 of card, the next one.
Yeah, the next one's 3 of, which is more.
I feel like this is a little disappointing to be a 3 of after looking at like.
Oh no, I think this is a good card. This is a good card.
I think it's a good design because it encourages you to, because like, hey, I can't. It's kind of inefficient. I'm just going to pitch it to her ability. It encourages you to use her ability.
Right, and also when it is efficient, it's going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
Like when it's good, it's going to be really, really good because 4 threat is, or removing 4 threat is generally better than doing 4 damage. Usually,
yeah.
Or threat is costed higher than damage, so
definitely.
Unless I'm gonna like lose the game that turn, I don't think I'm ever gonna pay 2 just for the 2.
No, probably not.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Unless If it'll get rid of a side scheme that's annoying, that's like drawing you an extra card, then probably. But otherwise, I would just use it as a resource.
I think it's going to be one of those cards that you have to play with and like feel how many typically side schemes are going to come out.
Yep.
But I mean, at least it works with their ability.
Yep.
And another card of ability.
Yep. Yeah. So I'm gonna move on to the next card, which is probably a little bit more exciting. Photonic Blast is an event. It is an attack and a superpower. It costs 3. It has a physical resource. It's not energy, but as hero action, attack, deal 5 damage to an enemy. If you pay for this card using an energy resource, draw 1 card. So it's swinging web kick. It does 3 less damage, but you might draw a card.
And like if you look at it from the drawn card, it basically costs 2 then.
Yeah.
Yeah, essentially.
I wouldn't play this unless I had the energy.
Yeah.
Right.
Unless you only need 5 damage to win the game, then there's no point.
Yeah, for me.
Yeah. I think
maybe there's a nemesis out, and like this is the only really way to get rid of them that turn, and it's like becoming a problem or something. I could make an argument like if you need that damage, you need the damage. But I'm going to try my hardest to always have an energy.
I don't think it's horrible on its own, but like you're Captain Marvel, you're gonna want energy. You're probably gonna have some energy kicking around if you built your deck right. So,
and I think it plays into the next card that's coming up.
Yes, this is usually going to be do 5 damage, draw a card. I think more often than not.
And again, 3 copies.
Yep.
Right, 3 copies, which is great.
What is that next card?
Oh, this is my favorite card in the entire core set, which is strange because energy absorption is a resource and it has 3 energy resources, and that's it. And she has 2 copies in her deck.
Flavor text, that's enough.
Which is the
flavor text, that's enough. Carol Danvers, that says it all. That's enough.
It's true. Yes, I love this card because you can just do anything you want with it. It's just 3 resources. That's always going to be useful, basically.
Which is better, this or Vibranium? I mean, I get this is better for Carol Danvers, and Vibranium is better for Black Panther. In general, which one would you rather have?
This, easy.
I think this Vibranium will be better sometimes. You only care about
Wild if you have 2 different types of resources you care about.
I guess also if you with your aspect cards, and you need a certain type of resource or something, Vibranium is just really good. But what's that? I think it also depends on what is the average cost of cards in this game.
Yep.
Right. That's the problem. And you need 3 cost cards to make use of them.
Well, no, you can use it on 2 costs. You just waste it.
Right, but
that's fine. You're paying for it still.
Yeah,
that's what you're getting with Vibranium, anyways. You can just as the option of being better.
Oh, I'm just saying, to make maximal use of it, 3 costs or 3 resources is not it's not 50% better than 2 resources. It's 40% better than 2 resources or something like that.
I mean, this card is great. Energy absorb with the energy channel.
Yeah,
but I think if the average cost card is around 2, I'd rather have the Vibranium just because I don't want to feel like I'm wasting it, but also the versatility of Vibranium because it also helps with the attachments.
Yeah. Yes, that's true. Yeah, but
except those pumpkin bombs, we don't care about them.
I just really like having 3 resources on 1 card, and that's just very exciting. You can play any big card you want, basically. Yeah, play a Helicarrier, just discarding that. That's it.
There you go.
But anyway, so yeah, I love that card. Anyway, her next card is not as exciting, I don't think. It's Alpha Flight Station. It is support. It's unique. A unique support, so she only has 1 copy. It's a location shield. Costs 1, has a mental resource. It has an action. Exhaust Alpha Flight Station and choose and discard 1 card from your hand to draw a card. And draw 2 cards instead if you're Carol Danvers. So when you're Captain Marvel, this is just card filtering. It doesn't net you any cards. But when you're in your alter ego, it does put you up one card, which is good, I guess.
Yep. So it filters
Great.
and gets you an extra card.
Right. I don't think this card's that exciting, but
It's solid. I mean, it's good. It's card draw. So
I think it's an amazing card. I mean, I think the only argument against it is the fact that there's a consequence for milling out in this game.
yeah.
I'm not even.
So-
Also, it's like you could just discard that card to pay for something else. If you
Right.
need, I get it. It's like an options kind of thing, but I mean, it's better if you're Carol Danvers because now you basically gain your
Yeah.
stars.
It gets you a
If you're
chance of drawing your
Captain
energy absorption.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's good if you need a specific card, but it's just not very exciting to me. Like,
Yeah. Well, in Carol Danvers, it's card draw, and that's good.
yeah, it's good. It just also costs 1, and it's like,
Would you guys think that in another card game, a card like this would be great, or it would be just?
Oh yeah, this would be-
yes.
Yeah.
And I think
like I play Magic, and they call this a looting effect. You just
Okay.
play these.
and Magic is absurd. In Arkham, it would be very good. In Lord of the Rings, it's amazing. But in this game, I think it's less good because you could just, wait a turn, discard that card to draw another card.
But no, you can
Maybe
do
if
this.
you
Get the
got
card.
cards that are like
I know.
take from your discard pile. Maybe this card gets a lot better, like we do in Lord of the Rings. Like if this was a Lord of the Rings card, you discard something like Elven Light. You basically didn't discard a card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we get cards that are like, oh, play this from your discard pile. I mean, this is good with something like leadership, where you have make the call where you can replay an ally from the discard. It's like, oh, I could just get rid of this ally, get 2 new cards if you're Carol Danvers, and then I could just play that ally, or eventually later on play that ally. Maybe.
I don't know. I think like there's so many situations where you need that one card to win, and you have her ability, you have Photonic Blast, and you have Alpha Flight Station. You gotta think about, like, this is a hero that wants to go through the deck just to find the correct cards. And
If
this is
that's
one
true-
morsel in the back.
Yeah.
Fuck.
If you build your deck like that, then this card's gonna be a lot better. But if you're just like building a general all around deck where like every card is like okay, it's a little bit worse.
I mean, we'll come through her next card, and I think that will say a lot.
Yeah.
Well, I got one flavor nitpick here. It has the shield trait, and Alpha Flight is not part of shield,
Uh-oh.
and that just bugs me.
Oh, get him, Matt.
And like Carol Danvers is also shield. Like she's been part of shield sometimes, but I don't know. It just feels weird having her be part of shield.
I haven't
Interesting.
seen the movie, but I think this is a movie thing.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But in the movie,
Like
it's
Alpha Flight
not.
Station. Like give it the Alpha Flight trait.
Oh yeah, that would be cool. That would be a lot cooler, I think.
I mean, I don't.
I might be biased because I'm Canadian and Alpha Flight's Canada's teams.
Yeah, I think
like,
that'd be cooler, but
coming from playing Marvel Legendary or whatever, there was a whole hero dedicated to Captain Marvel, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. or something like that. So like I saw this and I didn't think twice about it, but also I don't read the comic books, so I wouldn't think twice about it anyway. But like, I mean, you're right. Just give it the Alpha Flight trait.
Let's move on to the next card.
yeah, okay.
Quick thing: if somebody has their phone next to their microphone.
I'm getting some buzzing too.
Same.
I think it comes.
Yeah.
I think it's coming from Sam. Listeners, blame Sam if your radio bursts.
My it's a mess right now because I had to turn off my air conditioner, so I'm really hot because it was making me too loud earlier, and Carlos thought I was breathing. I don't breathe that loud.
I think we're editing this out. So I'm gonna say, like, dude, if you want to turn on your air conditioner, what I did is that I tried to move so it wouldn't hit me directly because I was having the same issue before.
It's across the room.
Ooh.
Okay, so
All
the
right.
card.
Next card.
Okay. Yeah, Captain Marvel's helmet. It's unique. It's an upgrade. It's armor attack. Cost 2. It's got physical resource. Captain Marvel gets +1 defense, +2 defense instead if you have the aerial trait. So
This is
if
so
you
cool.
if you have the aerial trait, she's got 3 defense. If you have this, which is really good. Like, I think this card alone makes Protection Captain Marvel possible. I think.
Yeah. Without you're not getting it.
I think
Yeah.
this card's amazing in Protection Captain Marvel,
Yes.
and then mediocre in all the other.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be good, but like in Protection Captain Marvel, it's gonna be great.
And it's a one-of, so in that case, Alpha Flight Station and all that card draw is really going to be useful.
Yeah, that's true. Getting +2 defense is huge.
Okay, so this is the card I do not like.
Really?
I do not like this card.
I agree.
And let me explain myself. So I don't like y'all are saying it's fine in Protection Captain Marvel. Yes, it's great, but any other Captain Marvel version, I don't like it. Like if I'm playing just as
Sure.
Captain Marvel, this is basically just going to be discard fodder for me. I mean, I
Yeah,
guess I'll put it on
yeah.
there, because why not? But like, if I'm never planning on defending with Captain Marvel, then this card is a
Right.
dud, and that really that pigeonholes this card for me into like
And it's
you could
pricey.
basically only it's pricey. It costs 2.
It
So
is pricey. Yeah.
it's a pigeonhole in that like it's good in one deck and basically discard and resource fodder in every other deck.
Yeah.
I mean, it might come in clutch later, but it's good to note that if you're playing something like Tenacity in your deck, it's you can discard this to ready your hero instead. It's probably better than giving it +1 defense, sometimes +2 defense.
Yeah. I like this card a lot. I mean, I think
don't agree
its
with
play
it.
is better than it looks, but
You're entitled to your opinion. It's okay.
there is only one copy of it. I would like it a lot. I would like it a lot more if it had an air too.
Yeah.
But that's
The
true
thing
for
that-
all of her cards. So
I mean, I don't know if this works. I haven't played Arkham in a while, but something that's very important in Lord of the Rings is that what's the name? Icon spread is not a good thing. So if you're paying 2 and a card to get her to 2, maybe 3 defense, because you're going to be defending multiple times, it's because you don't care about her attack and thwart anymore that much.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
If you don't care about your force or attack, then either you've already won the game and I don't think this is going to matter, or I don't
Or
know, I
you're
just
so
don't.
far behind that, like. But I mean, okay, so say you're at like a little bit of health left, and you just draw this card, and it's what you need to get through the turn. Maybe play a first aid or something, and then get back in. It honestly could win you the game sometimes, but like most of the time, it's going to the discard pile because I'm not gonna play it unless I draw it and I need it.
yeah.
I mean, and the weird thing is that, and we haven't come to that card yet, but it kind of like, if it's for emergencies, then it sucks because the card that gives you the aerial trait, it's great for emergency. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me. All right, we're getting above the hour mark, so let me go ahead. Let's kind of speed it up a little bit. Go on to the next card.
Right. Okay, so we have Cosmic Flight. It's an upgrade superpower. It costs 2. It's got an energy resource. And Captain Marvel gains the aerial trait. Hooray!
Woohoo!
And also, as a hero interrupt defense, when Captain Marvel would take damage, discard Cosmic Flight to prevent 3 of that damage. So that's cool.
It's pretty sweet.
Like-
There are 2 of them, so you could get another one.
It boosts her helmet and her the other card, the
Interdiction.
Crisis Interdiction. Yeah.
I don't know. Like, again, this is 2 resource, and you getting aerial trait maybe prevent some damage,
Yeah.
which will be good solo. I feel like I want another aerial payoff, though.
Yeah, but it makes Crisis Interdiction good. Like you
Yeah,
have
that's
3
fair.
of those in your deck, and also in a pinch you can discard to prevent 3 damage. So I think this is gonna be good. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
it makes me wonder a little bit, and not thinking about like the encounter sets, how much they are gonna build encounter sets. I'm gonna repeat that so we can cut it. I'm coming to like encounter sets. Something that I think is how much they're going to build them to punish one type of hero over another. So, will we ever have a card that's like Tremor, deal 2 damage to any character that doesn't have the aerial trait or something like that?
Ooh.
Which,
I like that.
Yeah.
Which kind of tells me like maybe this is not that great of a card right now, but is this something that's going to be interesting down the line where you're like, oh, we need to take Captain Marvel or Iron Man on this encounter because they're the only heroes that can deal with this treachery, like, and that might make.
Or you can only aerial people can attack this flying enemy. Because like the swinging web kick, that was aerial as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you could have a minion there that it's going to stick for the whole game or not. It does make me wonder because I don't tend to like that type of design for encounters.
No.
But it might be an interesting thing with the theme of this game because it kind of makes you think, well, yeah, this is the hero that you need in this type of situation.
Or even just make them slightly tougher against non-aerial attacks.
Right. I can also see a lot of player cards triggering aerial too, like later on.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I'm sure there's going to be like probably some other like aspect cards or something that trigger off aerial trait. Maybe
a jetpack.
Ooh, that could be cool. All right, let's go on to the last one.
Okay, last card for Captain Marvel. Energy Channel, or saving the best for last. It's an upgrade. It's a superpower. It costs 0. It has the mental resource. It is max 1 per player, but you have 2 copies in your deck. So action, spend X energy resources to put X energy counters here. And hero action, attack, discard energy channel, deal 2 damage to the enemy to a maximum of 10 for each energy counter here. So
can we call it by its real name?
Spirit Bomb?
Yep.
Yes.
I think that's what the community has dubbed this one. This is Spirit Bomb.
Oh, it's so
Even the
good.
art. If you look at the art, it is her like throwing a spirit bomb. Like Goku is contacting his lawyers, being like, "Hey, can she do that? That's kind of my thing."
So obviously, it's you want to go 5 max for energy on it.
Yeah.
So that's basically 6 to do 10 damage. Or,
yep.
Or 5 energy plus the card for it.
Right.
And then for 4 energy, you do 8 like a swing web kick. So that's slightly worse than swing web kick, but
it's good because you can build it up over multiple turns
and has a higher ceiling.
With something like energy absorption, I mean, it's 1 card for. At that point, energy absorption becomes 1 card for 6 damage.
Yeah, puts 3 counters on this, which is really good.
But they need to be energy though.
If you have any like leftover cards at the end of your discard them, because a lot of times you can't spend all your cards because the costs don't line up exactly.
Yeah, that's
a great way to dump extra resources. And in solo, you can almost one-shot most villains.
And it has there's 2 very important things about it. First of all, you play it while you're charging it up, so it's not occupying a space in your hand
right
when you're getting prepared. So you can just leave it on the table from whenever you want. But second of all, the first action, you don't need to be in hero mode.
Right.
So you can be in Carl Danvers and you could be drawing lots of cards, healing up while preparing a 10 attack, which I think makes this card, that detail makes this card really, really good.
Yep.
Yes, resource per resources is much worse than swinging web kick,
but it has a higher ceiling.
I wouldn't say it's much worse.
It's not much worse.
No, but I'm saying resource per resource. But in terms of a card, I think they're comparable, and I think this is a fine and a great card.
And design-wise, this is probably one of the most exciting cards, I think, just because people like storing up. They like that energy matters like this. It feels so fun.
Yeah.
To get all these energy on it. And you put energy absorption on there, it's like, ooh, just suddenly gets 3 energy on here. It's fun to play.
Yeah.
It's so fun that when we were kids, we would watch 20 episodes of a guy holding his hands up in the air. And it was like for 20 days, we're just waiting for him to just move his hands forwards, and we liked it. So I think this is going to be exciting, and it's just going to be. It does, like, I think Caleb talked about this in Gen Con, and it proves that they're doing it. It just gives you these like super moments, you know?
Yeah,
It's
no, like it's sitting there all game, you just see it, and it's like, oh crap, he's gonna go punch him now, and you just unleash this final blast attack.
Plus,
Out of nowhere.
just to note that if with this card, if you have this card out and you have like all the resources on it already, let's say just for Rhino 2, if you already have like the 5 resources on it, and you attack and you get to Rhino 2 before you spend it, this and whatever the card was earlier, the Photonic Blast, will kill Rhino 2 in 1 turn.
Will it
Yeah.
really? What?
Yes, and so
what's Rhino 2 health?
15?
Oh, that's amazing.
yeah, it is so good.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, just attack the top, and it's
And
like,
you don't
boom,
have
boom.
to spend all the resources in 1 turn to do it. You can do it over the game, and then as soon as you get to Rhino 2, you do that, play this card. Like, you can pop that, use an energy absorption to use Photonic Blast.
Yeah,
and
we've been down on quite a few of Captain Marvel cards. I think this card single-handedly makes Captain Marvel fun.
Yeah.
Like it just has enough feel-good moments in it, like that. Like despite the mediocre rest of her deck, I'd play her just to be able to do this.
And it's a card that you can plan for it.
Yeah.
You can plan to just.
It's a great card to build your deck around.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because you can put as much energy in it as you want. I'm a little higher on the rest of her deck than it sounds like you guys are, but
Well,
I think this is
she makes up for a very strong hero card.
Oh, yeah.
She's getting a card draw like in both modes.
her hero cards are good, and I think she has a couple good cards, a couple mediocre cards.
Decent stats.
Yeah.
I like her abilities. I think her abilities are one of the best in the game. They're just 2 very solid abilities.
I think she's gonna be a good, well-rounded hero. Is gonna be able to contribute.
I think
no matter what you do.
her card choices are a lot easier than someone like Spider-Man's. All his cards are really good because, like, if the card just isn't good at that time, it's so easy to just be like, I don't need this,
Resource.
and get rid of it.
Yeah.
So I think it'll make her a little easier to play, even though it seems like her cards aren't as good. I think she'll just be.
Yep.
Her choices will be easier, and I think that'll make the game a little bit easier too when you're playing with someone like Captain Marvel.
Ben, what aspects would you run her with?
Oh my gosh! Like, what wouldn't I do? I think protection. Captain Marvel's okay. I think Spider-Man's better, but she's like maybe second, no, maybe third best behind Black Panther. But I think leadership and basically whoever you can put the most energy resources in is because she really wants energy resources.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So I think that's gonna be more important than my aspect. Just trying to get as many energy resources as possible. And find ways to spend them.
Yep. All right, let's go around the horn real quick. Final thoughts, Captain Marvel, Matt.
Well, here's a bonus Marvel trivia for you. Captain Marvel and Spider-Man, since they are today, they dated in the comics.
Wait, what?
What?
Yeah, they dated for, I think it was 2007.
Really?
Oh wow!
After certain events, which I refuse to acknowledge.
Oh, okay.
What are those events?
You refused to acknowledge him. Did you not listen?
Oh, okay.
It's one more day is what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sam, your final thoughts on Captain Marvel?
She is not my favorite hero out of the core set, but she's also not my least favorite hero out of the core set.
Oh no.
It's like, okay, so when we got to the point where you're like, maybe she could be good with protection, I completely disagree. Because Captain Marvel is one card in the entire deck. It's just one. And I just think it's terrible. I would never devote my time to trying it, because I know I'm gonna be disappointed.
I
Especially
guess I just like being jankier than you do.
Yeah, I think I gotta say this is my least favorite hero for the pack. Like,
Oh.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Whoa.
well, I mean, like I like the others a lot. I just
Yeah,
don't,
that's
see,
fair.
I don't see as many options. It feels so linear to me. Like, okay,
I
here's some
think she's the
take some
least
energy.
powerful.
I
do
think
energy.
you guys are really, really under evaluating. Is that the word? I forgot the word in English now. But
Interdiction?
no, when you think something is worse than it really is.
Yeah,
Undervaluing.
Underestimate?
Underestimating, because she is, I think, the best in multiplayer. She has the best alter ego.
Okay,
That
but
that she's a player to
concede
draw one card is something that just builds up. It gives a card to the player that needs it at the moment, and it's like, hey guys, I need this. We can do this. I need this resources to get rid of this situation, and the planning that Energy Channel allows you in solo. So I really think that she is a very easy hero to play with, a harder hero to make into a great one, but still has that possibility to
She's a
be
good
a great
support.
one.
Yeah.
on those lines, would you rather be the player playing Iron Man and doing like all the great stuff, or would you rather be the person who's sitting in alter ego mode the entire game, just like have a card? That's
Well,
my
I think
turn.
you want to be swapping
You
her back.
asked me the
every
wrong
turn.
question, because Iron Man is my favorite hero. So Marvel,
Right.
I don't like him
I
in
just-
Marvel, but in this game. But
I
other than
think
Iron
the-
Man, I would love to be Carol Danvers in
I
as a
think you
support
want to
hero.
swap her
I think
every
this was
turn just
the
to get her
weakest.
abilities.
Like my least favorite hero in the core, and not because she's bad, is She-Hulk. I just don't have interest in her character. I don't have interest in her hero. But power level, I know She-Hulk's very good. I think Captain Marvel is the weakest hero in the thing, and I think her hero cards. There's a couple good ones, but outside of that, I don't see a reason to.
All right, well, I'm going to rein us in real quick because we're starting to get we're getting over the hour mark. My final thoughts. I'm kind of with you guys. She's not my least favorite hero, but I'm not as excited as her as Spider-Man. So I don't know. I mean, I'd play her. I played her in the demo game, and I had a fun time. So I'll play her. Probably not protection. Again, probably try something else. But yeah, so listeners, next time we will continue on with the other three. We'll see if we can get all three in one. That may mean we have to cut some things short, like news and stuff like that. We'll try to dive right into our main topic next episode. But until
If we'll get news.
yeah, if we get news, we'll cover the news. But we'll just see what we have to do because we really want to get all three in.
You made something amazing, which is now I don't want any news until we do the next.
Well,
Oh man.
well, I will sign us off then, guys. This has been so much fun. I can't wait to talk about the next three heroes. Until next time, thank you for listening, and as always, Excelsior!